Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our Gemara Shir. We call it Gemara Straight and Simple. So we are Masechet Shabbos Kuf Mem Zayin Amud Beis in the top of the page, not the very top. We're about 5 lines from the top of the page, and we're learning about how one should behave when washing on Shabbos, regarding wiping yourself on Shabbos and drying yourself with a towel. Okay, not okay. Can you carry it in the street? Can't carry in the street, etc. So we said in the Mishnah, we said in the Mishnah as follows: if the person by himself was alone in the mikveh, walking alone in the street from the mikveh, from the river, from wherever, doing his dip, and then going home, he is not allowed to carry nothing to do the Eruv now, nothing to do the Tiltul, even if you're supposed to, even if there is an Eruv. There's not Yishuv Tiltul here. Don't wear or even carry the towel with you. Rather, leave it behind in the mikveh, so says the Mishnah, wherever that is, because we're concerned maybe on your way from home to mikveh, you may come to squeeze the water. And even if you wear 10 different, even if you wiped yourself with 10 different towels, which means that those towels don't have much water in them, because eventually the last towels are not very wet. Still, it's not allowed. We're concerned you may come to wet and you may come to squeeze and wring the towels. On the other hand, the Mishnah said that if 10 people used one towel, and that towel is clearly not so wet, and this towel is very, very wet, because 10 people used one towel. Don't ask me to be the 10th one, not even the third one or second. So then it is not a problem for them to carry it from the mikveh to the house. Why? Because they're going to remind each other. When 10 people are together, or even less than 10, a few people together, you could be even 2 or 3, they're going to remind each other not to squeeze on Shabbos. Zok the Gemara. The Gemara basically says what I already told you, but the Gemara will say it much better than me. Says the Gemara, Reisha Revusa Kamashmalan. The first case of the Mishnah is telling me Chiddush. Revusa is the Chiddush in Aramaic. The Seifa Revusa Kamashmalan. The Seifa, the second case, is also telling us a Chiddush, and the Gemara is going to dive straight in. Reisha Revusa Kamashmalan. The first part of the Mishnah is telling me Chiddush. The Afilu Hani Deloy Nefisha Behu Maya. In other words, those 10 towels used by one person, they don't have much water in them. He used one towel a bit here, a bit there. Maybe he's a very finicky guy. He uses one towel for the face, one for the shoulder, one for the other shoulder. He uses each one separately. So those towels don't have much water. However, why are we still concerned that he may come to squeeze them on his way from mikveh to home? Because he's alone, one person alone, walking, just him, and he's Yetzer Hara and may forget it's Shabbos, also the Schita. He is by himself, he may come to squeeze the towel. However, the Sefer Revusa Kamashmalan, the Sefer is telling us the Chiddush, Afilu Hani de Nefisha B'Umaya. The second case is just the opposite. You have one towel for 10 people. It's full of water. 10 people miscan the towel, poor towel, has everyone's water in it. There's a lot of water in the towel, and it makes sense. Of course, you want to squeeze it. It's so thick, so overly wet. However, we're not concerned that you may come to squeeze. Why? Because there are many people that remind each other. I keep saying mikveh, and it's not exactly accurate. Although the minhag is to go to the mikveh on Shabbos, Mishnah Berurah says ein moichin beyodon. Chasidim obviously are more into going to mikveh. The example the Mishnah brings is if you go to a natural spring. Meikar Adin, Chacham made a gzera not to enter Beis HaMerchatz, to go to a natural spring, even a hot one, such as Chametz Ver, that was allowed. So let's say you're back home from the hot spring, from the hot spa, that's okay. And so far what did we say? You're not supposed to carry if you're on your own, either you have one towel, 2 towels, we don't care how many. You're not supposed to carry the towel because you may come to squeeze it. Very nice. As you walk down the street, you may come to squeeze it. Yes.
This one makes something.
Yeah. Question time.
Yeah.
Yours at home. So Jason over here is making a good point. We're talking about the 10 people walking down the street. They're all walking together from the mikveh or the hot spa. They're all walking together, carrying the towel together, or one guy's carrying and everyone's watching him. They're walking en masse. They're walking together, and that's why they're going to remind each other. Now says the Brisa, Tonu Rabbanon, mistapik odom ba'alun, mistapik g. A person is allowed to dry himself, wipe himself dry with aluntis, with a towel, umanicha bechalon, and he places it in the window of the mikveh, in the window of that, let's say, Beis HaMerchatz that you're allowed to use, let's say it's a natural spring or mikveh, you're allowed to go there. In Shabbos, you put it in the window. What on earth does mean put it in the window? I didn't know what that means. Basically, there are two chidushim here. Chiddush number one says the Rashba, Mistape Godem Baluntis is a Chiddush. Who says you're allowed to dry yourself and wipe yourself dry with a towel? Aren't you concerned you may come to squeeze it? We saw many times that clothes, that fabric should not be in touch with water, lest you come to squeeze it. For example, Kufid Aleph Amud Aleph, it says, don't put something in the, no, even before that, in the beginning of Metoim in Mem, Ches Amud Zayin Amud in the top of the page, it says there, don't even place something wet over the over a jug of water, yeah, some kind of towel. You may come to in contact with the water. You may come to squeeze it. And here you are drying yourself away. And why aren't you concerned? You may come to squeeze it. Answers the Rashba, and that's the halacha. You are allowed to dry yourself once you've been to the mikveh. Why? Why aren't we concerned? Because everybody that's been to water has to dry himself. It's something very basic. If you tell people, listen, guys, I allow you to go to Chamit Tveria, I allow you to go to mikveh, I allow you to go to the natural hot spot, but you can't wipe yourselves. They're not going to go. So you really are gozer not to go to those places to wash. You can't say you should wash, but you shouldn't dry, because one is ultimately connected to the other. And therefore, we say if you're allowed to wash yourself, must be allowed to dry yourself. No gzera. Otherwise, the gzera can be oimidva. People won't be able to hold on to that gzera. Do you have to be careful not to squeeze a towel? Yes. By the way, I mentioned yesterday, and I checked it today, and I was right when I said that Rav Ovadia Yosef is makel to take a cold shower on Shabbos. Only hot you shouldn't take. This for everybody. That's unfortunately Gemara. But a cold shower you're allowed to take, and if you are supposed to take a cold shower, according to Rav Ovadia, are you allowed to wipe yourself? Yes, of course you're supposed to wipe yourself. Elamai, when you wipe yourself, says Rav Ovadia, please what? Make sure not to, yeah, make sure not to squeeze, not to wring it. Rav Ovadia also says that when Ashkenazim are machmir, this is something important for us to know, and I want to say to everybody who watches us online, even for Ashkenazim that don't take showers, cold showers, and I'm one of them, it's still allowed to take shower if it's like if you're very sweaty or like 2 days Yom Tov, 3 days Yom Tov, or you get very sweaty, very tsar. Then again, ask your local Orthodox. But Rav Ovadia says for Ashkenazim is allowed. I've heard it from other people. Sometimes you have to wash in cold water for dvar mitzvah, mitzvah of oina, things like that. There are situations like that. Ask your rabbi, but to my humble opinion, it should be okay. And this is sometimes, situations do come, and this comes handy. What's manicha b'chalon? You take the towel after you wash yourself in the mikveh. You dried yourself with the towel, made sure not to squeeze it. Then you put it in the window. Which window? Why window? Says the Meiri in Eruvin, where the sugya also appears. He says in the chalon everybody can see. Everybody sees it in the chalon. You won't come to squeeze it. In other words, you have to put it on display. Everybody sees, so you're scared to squeeze it. Now continues the Gemara, and here the Brisa, Veloim serena lo lairin. Don't give your towel back to the balanim, to the mikveh attendants. What shouldn't you give your wet towel to the lairin? Put it in the window, and don't give it to the mikveh attendant. They own the towels, like the mikveh in Chutz La'aretz. Don't give it back to them. Why? Because they're chashud on that thing. What's that thing? Says Rashi. Two explanations. Rashi and most Rishonim explain they are choshud. What do? They squeeze the towel because they want to serve the next customer and want to give him a fresh towel. So if they want to give him fresh towel, they'll obviously squeeze yours. They're not Yerushalayim. The Balonim today they are, I'm sure, but back then they were not. So back then there's a chash and they come to squeeze it in order to give it to the next guy. That's not allowed. I told you what I told you yesterday, and apparently the Rach says what I told you. The Rach says that there were not Tsanua people. They're around the men and all that, and they sometimes are the Motzi Shich Vazera. In other words, they do in order to get the zera out of the body, and they probably hide it with a towel. So basically, if you give them the towel, you are misayel dvar. You're helping them basically, pleasure themselves, and that's obviously not allowed in halacha. And that's why the Bride says oisoi dovo. Usually, oisoi dovo means that thing which we don't mention because of tznius. Get what I'm saying? Otherwise, they would have said it. That's zerach. Rabbi Shimon Oimer. So now, so far, if anybody would stop listening to a shir now, which I don't recommend, please continue. People would think that today, 2025, Shabbos Parshas Nesoi, wherever you live all around the world, people watch us from Monsey, from Petach Tikva, from New York, from London. We have viewers from all over, Baruch Hashem. And what would the people think? People would think, I'm going to mikveh. I'm not allowed to take the towel with me back home, even if there's an eruv. Wrong. Now we're going to see many opinions who allow you to take the towel with you. Let's see opinion number one. Rabbi Shimon Oimer, mistapik baluntis achas. A person is allowed to wipe himself even with one towel which is drenched with water. One towel is full of water. Umevia biyadoi letoch beiso. You're allowed to bring it even if you're walking all on your own. We're not concerned. Mevia biyadoi letoch beiso. So says Rabbi Shimon. So that's legit. Rabbi Shimon is a Tana. And Rabbi Shimon argues with our Mishnah. That's okay. He argues with the Mishnah. Rabbi Yosef, Abai is asking his Rav, which is Rabbi Yosef, Hilchas Amai. Rabbi, what's halacha? Do we follow our Mishnah or do we follow Rabbi Shimon? Amarle, Rabbi Yosef gives him a very clear, a whole long list of Amiroim and Tanoim who allow you to walk with a towel in the street. Amarle, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi, Hashmuel, Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, that's four people. That's a lot. In other words, you have two Tanoim, Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi, and two early Amiroim, Shmuel and Rabbi Yochanan, and they all allow you unanimously. They all allow you to take the mikveh with you from take the towel with you from the bathhouse back home. Rabbi Shimon. Now we're going to detail and we're going to elaborate each one. Rabbi Shimon Odamor. Rabbi Shimon we just said, yeah? Rabbi Shimon says outright, it's allowed, finished. Rabbi, where did we see the Rabbi allowed it? The Tanya, it says in the Brisa, Omer Rabbi. Rabbi says, when we learned Torah by Rabbi Shimon, says Rabbi, in the town of Tekoa, היינו מעלין שמן ואלונטיס מחוצר לגג ומגג לקרפף. Let me explain. We were, let's say, sitting in this medrash, something like that, yeah. We wanted to go to the mikveh or to the bathhouse on Shabbos, and we wanted to take with us the shem and the oil, old style shampoo, right, soap, and the towel. How did we manage that in a place where there was no eruv? How did we do that? They made sure that the items, the cosmetic items of the bathhouse were somewhere outside the Beis Medrash, outside the building. And once the item started its Shabbos in a chotzer, in a courtyard outside, according to Rabbi Shimon's unique shita, even if there is no eruv, you're allowed to move it from chotzer to a gag, to a roof, from a roof to a carpet, which is the backyard. Ad shen meginetzel mayan. Let me explain something. We all know that in the place with no eruv, you're not allowed to move even from one reshus to the other. Rabbi Shimon has a unique opinion that prohibition only applies to moving things from indoors to another indoor or outdoor neighbors. In other words, let's say the house of family, family Akiva. Yeah, from that indoor house, you can't move to family Rubenstein. Yeah, but let's say this is in my chotzer, any outdoor area which is Reshus HaYochid, such as a roof, such as a front yard, backyard, from them you're allowed to move. So this way, you can walk very far with items in your hand. You go from one chotzer to the other carpet, to the other roof, like this children's movie, where they all walk on one roof to the other roof to the other roof to the whole town of London, yeah? In other words, you walk the whole city until you get to the Mayan. Okay, very nice. So Eruvin-wise, we're okay. Now, what was in the Mayan? In the Mayan, what did we do? We would wash. Now, says Rashi, they didn't leave the towel there to be hefker. it's going to be stolen. I don't know what, something's going to happen to it. So clearly, they did that same route backwards. They went in reverse and went back home with the gag to chotzer, chotzer kappa, pum, 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 playing this game of can you walk from place to place without hitting an indoor? But they did it with the towel. Aha. So you see that Rebbe himself believes that you're allowed to take a towel from the bathhouse to Ushus Hayochid. Maybe there were many people together. Says the Tosfos, no, there weren't many people. Why? Because you're not allowed to go with your Rebbe to the Beis HaMerchatz. So ultimately, like you were saying before, he washed alone and he walked alone. I mean, at some point we assume that they were alone. There wasn't a whole gathering with him. And therefore, when they say we did it, they meant each one separately. Right? So you see, Rebbe himself would walk alone with a towel. Shmuel. Now, the third opinion that allows you to walk with a towel from the bathhouse to the house is Shmuel. Damar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Rav Yehuda quotes Shmuel. He says, "Mistapig odom baluntis." Person is allowed to wipe himself with a luntis, and we are not concerned he may come to squeeze and wring, as long as he doesn't. He shouldn't. Umevia biyado l'toch beisai. Straight and simple. He brings it in his hand alone. Nobody reminds you. We're lying people. We don't suspect people to be over Avera. Yeah, the Gemara says in Datham B'Chesed B'Dalef, yeah, lo nechshu v'sol lo Shabbos. Good. Rabbi Yochanan, last but not least, is a fourth opinion that allows it. We're creating a big coalition over here. Rabbi Yochanan, Dama, Rabbi Chia Barabba, Rabbi Yochanan, halocho, mistapig odom baluntis, u'mevi abiyado toch beisoi. Straight and simple. You can take it from your house, from the bathhouse when you're wiping yourself, and bring it with your hand into your house. Frek the Gemara, the fourth opinion, Rabbi Yochanan, that's giving us hard time. Umiyam Rabbi Yochanan hachi. Are you sure that Rabbi Yochanan actually said halacha that you're allowed to wipe yourself? Remember, those four opinions are against our Mishnah. Our Mishnah, our very own Mishnah, did not allow you to walk alone with a towel in the street and into the house. Why? Did Rabbi Yochanan argue in our Mishnah and said you are allowed even though the Mishnah says you're not allowed? V'amar Rabbi Yochanan, famous line of Rabbi Yochanan, halachic is the Mishnah. That appears only in Masechah Shabbos, I think, like 4 times, and all over Shas. Rabbi Yochanan believes halachic is the Mishnah, which means halacha is always like the anonymous opinion of the Mishnah. In other words, if a Mishnah says something, Shura Shlishita Rechava, Kuf Mem Zayin Amud Beis, third wide line. If a Mishnah says something not as an opinion, Rabbi Akiva Amar, Rabbi Tarfon Amar, Rabbi Yehuda Amar, if the Mishnah just says halacha, which is our Mishnah did not bring an opinion. Our Mishnah seems to be talking on the name of the narrator of the Mishnah. Like, this is a simple pshat. So Rabbi Yochanan says whatever Stam Mishnah says is halacha l'maisa. V'tanan, what did our Mishnah say? When istapeg afilu be'esar luntios, one person wiping himself even with 10 towels, which have less water, lo yavim biyadoi, boom. Our Mishnah says a yochid, one person, should not bring the towel back home from the bathhouse to his house. And yet, what do we see? Rabbi Yochanan paskins against the Mishnah. And Rabbi Yochanan himself said, you're supposed to paskin yes like the Mishnah. Answers the Gemara, Ahu keben chachinoi matni lo. Which means, Rabbi Yochanan himself had a different version in our Mishnah. Rabbi Yochanan, if you listen and if you look at his written Mishnah, and I told you that many times, sometimes the Maroim, they never argue in the Mishnah, but they have a different version of the Mishnah. Yeah? It's like I would not argue, obviously, with Rabbi Elyashiv. I would argue with people about what Rabbi Elyashiv said, and I actually do, because I've been to him a few times. Yeah. So now, and people they make up things they never said. Doesn't matter. So now, so get the story. Says the Gemara. Of course, Rabbi Yochanan believes that the Mishnah is Stam Mishnah, and that's halacha, but it's not Stam Mishnah. Rabbi Yochanan's version of the Mishnah is that ben chachinoi. In other words, that the fact or the halacha that a person should not walk with a towel alone, says the Mishnah, is divrei ben chachinoi. So it's not a stam Mishnah, it's a Mishnah according to one opinion. One opinion is one opinion. Is a minority, and I go against the minority with the majority. That's what Rabbi Yochanan would say. Amar Rabbi Chia Barabba, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Another statement of the same person, Rabbi Chia Barabba, the same Heilige Amoira, quoting Rabbi Yochanan. Olayrin again are the mikveh attendants. Mevim balori noshim lebeibani. They're allowed to bring the women's towels to the bathhouse. Now, let's not lose sight. Right now, we're talking about a place with no Eruv, right? So these Olayrim, although they're not the nicest, best people, but at least officially they keep halacha, so they have to know what to do, right? These Olayrim, they go to the Beibani with the women's towels. How can they carry the women's towels on Shabbos? Can't do that. They would wear them, and that's okay. As we said yesterday, if you wear something derech levush, it's okay. Yeah, let's say you take a towel and you wear it like a poncho. If it looks normal in your times, then it's fine. I'm not saying today, I don't know, but if it's normally fashionable, so it's fine. ובלבד שיזכסה בין ראשן ורובון. Oh, as long as your head and most of your body is covered, then you're wearing it, right? The more flowing, the more long, right? The more covering your body, the more it's lavush. As we said yesterday, the more you start amassing it and collecting it on your shoulders, is more of a problem because you're carrying it, you're not wearing it. Sachanisa, according to the Rambam, not Rashi, is a shorter towel. So lemata, let me explain. Now, it says the Rambam, this is a short towel. A short towel which you're holding on your head, yeah. So first of all, there's a chashash it's going to fall. It's going to fall. It's too short, so you have to tie it over here. But the Baba says no, below your shoulders, because otherwise that's look like you're wearing it. You look like a Ukrainian grandmother. It looks ridiculous. But if you wear it like this under your ktefaim, like a Sfardi Makubal, like that, that's more normal. It's more derech levush, and that's fine. Yeah, it has to be derech levush, and you have to make sure that it doesn't fall off you, and then it's okay. Omar Rava lebnei Mechuza. Rava told the people of Mechuza. Rava was a Rav, and Rosh Hashiva in Mechuza. Was Mechuza rich or poor? Anybody? Rich. Mechuza was Beverly Hills of those days, yeah? Amar Rava lebnei Mechuza, ki mabritu mani lebnei Chela. When you want to pass the clothes for the soldiers, the government back then, says Rashi, forced the Jews to take care of the soldiers. It's mentioned many times in the Gemara. Now, those soldiers, they want to wear stuff, and you want to pass it to them through Reshut Rabim. How do you do that? So he says the Gemara, Sharbi v'bu lemata miksefayim. In other words, don't wear it upwards, but lemata miksefayim, meaning you wear the soldier's clothes on you as you carry it. What do? You carry it like this and make sure that it flows in the back, Superman style. You have to make sure it flows in the back because that's a normal way. If you start collecting it over here, it's not normal. Again, as we said, depends on the fashion. If the fashion is to wear it like a scarf, then you can do it. Back then in Mechuzah, the fashion was like artalis. Artalis you wear flowing in the back, right? All draped. So you should wear it the way that's worn, not the way that it looks like you're carrying. Okay? Weiter. We're done with the clothes, and now we're into the massage on Shabbos. Sachin u'memash machine. What did we say in the Mishnah? By the way, special treatment for my dear neighbor. I saw today, I said it already before, I'm going to say it now. Rabbi Obadiah Yosef says clearly, I saw it in Tzar Chochmah quoted 4 times, that you're allowed to take a cold shower on Shabbos. You're allowed to take a cold shower on Shabbos. Achaynu Ashkenazim don't, but we do, he says. Although he just points out you have to be careful when you wipe yourself, when you dry yourself with a towel, make sure not to squeeze. But other than that, it's fine. Don't squeeze your hair, your beard. That's already known. I didn't even talk about it. But you're allowed to take a cold shower, which is Mashmot Pashtus Dibra Gemara. He says even Ashkenazim are allowed to be mekel for tzorach godel, like they sweat a lot or something like that. Okay? Sachin memash machine. Tono bonon. Sachin memash machine b'bnei me'ayim b'Shabbos. One is allowed to, what's sachin? You're allowed to basically smear yourself with oil just for fun. Memash machine means a very light massage, not a strong one, a medicinal, medical one. Like a nice, patting the body like this. Yeah, that's allowed on Shabbos. Ubilvad, providing shelo yaseh kederech shoyse b'chol. Don't do it the way you do it b'chol. Why? Even though it's not refuah, it's uvda dechol. What's uvda dechol? Ezra Moshe Feinstein geniusly defines. Don't invest in something too much. It's not Shabbosdik, yeah? Shabbos is not this time to start making a whole massage. Making it a bit different, less professional. You do that light massage, even though it's light, do it less professional and different than throughout the week. To show I'm different. Shabbos is different. Shabbos is not a time to invest in that kind of activity. Hechi Ovid, what do you mean change from the weekday massage? Rab Chama bar Chanina Omar sach ve'achar kach memashmish. First you smear the oil, the runny, liquidy oil, and then you lather, then you run your hands on the skin, meaning normally you do the massage and then you apply the oil. Here you have to do the other way around to make a shinui. Rabbi Yochanan Omar, Sachem Mashmash V'Asachas. Rabbi Yochanan said no. The abnormal way of doing it, which should be done on Shabbos, is if you do it all in one go. In other words, you lather the oil into the body as you massage the body lightly. You put in the oil too. That's allowed, but the massage has to be weak. Massage it strong, like cracking your tendons. That's not allowed on Shabbos. Yeah, only the light one. Avaloi misamlin. What's loy misamlin? Loy misamlin means don't make a strong massage or don't exercise. Don't bring yourself to a situation in which you sweat. Why? It's either refuah or uvda dechol. Omar b'chir barab Omar b'yechonon. Osir lamud b'karkaisa shel dumsas. You're not allowed to stand in the bottom of the. How do you call it in English? It's like a river, but it's a river with salty water. Interesting. Yeah, it has like medical qualities, like the Dead Sea. Yeah, minerals. Yeah, there's minerals there. It's a very healthy place to be, like a spa. It's a river which is like a spa. You're not allowed to stand in that river on Shabbos. Why? Me'ameles means it's hot. It brings heat and it's merapeh. So even if you don't know about uvda dechol, merapeh is not allowed. In other words, this is the place which the doctor would send you to, to go to for refuah. You're not allowed to do refuah on Shabbos. It's that simple. Says Rashi, why does it heal the body? Shatit maluach. In other words, when you stand in the bottom, in the seabed or in the riverbed in the bottom, then that mud has this, medical qualities, and it's salty, it's mineral, and it heals you. It's true. The Dead Sea has unbelievable qualities. The people of psoriasis who go there and they come out healthy. Yeah, yeah. I'm not healthy for life. They're healthy for a few months. Yeah, so that's good. So it's good for weekdays, but not good for Shabbos. Yam Melech is also a big problem to go on Shabbos because of refuah. That's a shaila in the Gemara Shmona Shotzim, but as far as I know, it's not allowed. You usually go there for refuah, I think, so it's a shaila. It's l'choyer or not. Oh, I promised you a gadita. Oh, you see now, you see I'm not a liar. Here comes the gadita. Which means that Dyumsas business, that special magic nahar, that river that's very healthy for you, only 21 days a year, it has that good health qualities. Get what I'm saying? Those special that special, good quality of healing, of curing, that only happens 21 days in the entire year. The Atzeres min minyan. Atzeres, we just had Shavuos in Yonah D'Yoma. Atzeres, which is Shavuos, is one of those 21 days. And the Gemara assumes it's either the beginning or the end. Iboilahu, Atzeres la'agisa or la'agisa. In other words, when you're telling me that Shavuos is one of the 21 days in which Dumsas is very healthful and healthy, is Shavuos the beginning, and then 21 days from Shavuos onwards, which is also now. Shall we quickly run to Dumsas now? Is it from Shavuos and starting to count 21 days, or is it 21 days before Shavuos, and Shavuos is the 21st last day? That's a question. So let's try and figure it out. Toshma, Shmuel says, Kula Shekiani, all the healthy drinks, all those healthy elixirs of life, the healthy drinks, the time in which those refreshing drinks are healthy are from Divcha Zevach, from Pesach till Shavuos. From Pesach, when you bring the Korban, until Shavuos, then they're good. The best time to heal yourself with a cold shake, nowadays they're much into health shakes, right? I don't know, kiwi mixed with acid, with whatever, all these things, yeah? They are good when? From Pesach till Shavuos. Oh, so you see, must be that also that river is also healthy before Shavuos. Like the healthy time is Yisrael Omer. So the Gemara, no, the Gemara is partially rejecting what we said. Dilma, maybe, Hosamu, the Karir Alma Ali. There we talk about drinks that are cold and refreshing. So it makes sense that the colder the world, the better, right? In other words, it makes sense that it will be healthier for you when the world is a bit cooler, which is before Shavuos, and not after Shavuos when the world is beginning to heat up. We're getting closer to July and August, so then maybe the cold drinks are not good when it's hot. Back then, there's no fridge, yeah? Here it's the other way around. Here, actually, the heat is what's better for you. The heat and the mud and the salt of that yumsis, that's what's good for you. The heat. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe the hotter the world, the hotter the weather, the better it is. We don't know. It's remaining a question. We don't know. Here comes a real agarita, which is something for us to learn a lesson from. We're going to learn now a very big lesson for life. You have to know what do you mean, Mazum Mishaneh? Chachamim wanted us to be healthy and to know what to do with our health. They cared about us. As opposed to common belief, I'm joking. Chazal wanted us to be healthy. We see they give us a lot of etzatoiva. You see Chazal, Shabbos, Daf Samechvov, and many other places. We see Chazal cared about us and gave us health advice. Why? Why? Because you have to be healthy. And you have to be healthy in order to be healthy, in order to serve Hashem. And Chazal, in their great chokhmah, no. So they wanted to tell you when is a good time to go to that Diumsis business, no? I don't think, Lema, what? It does. The Gemara does ask it. He doesn't come to a conclusion. And we don't know. We don't know, Lemaskona. We're not sure. We're not sure. So I don't know. I don't know what Diumsis is, so I don't know. Omer Rabbi Chelbu. Rabbi Chelbu says, oh, now this is something very interesting. Chamer de Purgaisa, the wine of a town or an area called Purgaisa, that very good wine. In Purgaisa, I'm not sure pronouncing it right, Purgaisa, Purgeta, Purgete. There was very good wine in Purgeta. Umaya de Diumsas. Oh, Diumsas had very good Geschmack spa, hot and mineral full, yeah. Keep Chosel Shvotim Yisrael. They caused the Golus of Aser Shvotim to go to exile before everybody else until today. Yeah, I mean, give or take, most of the Aser Shvotim are gone. Why? Explains Rashi something so scary. Because they were Bali Hano, they were very indulged. Do you mind? Oh, thank you, Baruch Hashem. Thank you very much. I'm glad we're like-minded. So fine, they were in Yemen with the Chutim. So now basically the Aser Shvotim, what happened to them? They were Bali Hano. They were very involved, indulged themselves with good wine, good spa. V'lo hoy oiskim b'Torah, says Rashi, v'yotzor tabusro. Wow. They were from. They were good and from, but they were too involved in earthly pleasures, in carnal pleasures, not Eser. They didn't do znus, they didn't eat chazir, they didn't eat in Yom Kippur. What did they do? They would just get too involved with wine and this wine and that wine, got too involved in the spa and the jacuzzi, so much that they forgot learning Torah, and eventually they went off the derech. Yes, they did. And they left Klal Yisrael, Ad Kedei Kach, with the Golus, scary. What is it called? Naval B'Shut Torah. He's too involved in the Gashmius, so his mind is not in Torah. Talking, yeah. Rabbi Elazar ben Arach, in the times of the Mishnah, Ikla Lehosam, he himself actually happened to come to that place to Pugas and Yumsas. Maybe they're near each other. Imshech Basrayu, this is a Tana. And he got too involved and too carried away with a good wine and a good spa, jacuzzi, and all that. He forgot his learning. Wow. So involved in Gashmis, a Tana. Rabbi Elazar is one of the top Tanoim mentioned in Pirkei Avos, right? As one of the, remember, what does it say about him? Rabbi Elazar is one of the, he's mentioned to be one of the, he has one of the best midos of the Tanoim, and he forgot his learning because he was too involved with Gashmias. Kihodo, when he went back to Eretz Yisrael from his vacation, I don't know how long that was, with the wine and the spa, also he came, and he wanted to read in the Sefer Torah. And what happened? Bal Mikra, he wanted to read the following psukim describing the first mitzvah, HaChodesh Hazeh. What's the first mitzvah in the Torah? For Klal Yisrael, not for Avraham Avinu. HaChodesh Hazeh. Hashem told Moshe and Aaron, this moon, that's the new moon, that's Rosh Chodesh. Kazeh Re'eh V'Kadesh. Yeah, more in Rosh Hashanah, yeah, Daf Chof. Omar, he wanted to pronounce the word the Chodesh Hazeh Lachem. Instead, he got it wrong. Omar, hacheresh hoyo libam. Instead of the chodesh, he got hacheresh. he mixed and confused the Dalet with the Resh, and instead of Lochem, he mixed the Chaf and confused it with Beis Libam. So what did he say? Acherish Libam, says the Marshal, listen to the message. What's Acherish Libam? The heart was deaf. He was so involved in Gashmias that him, the Tana, couldn't read a Pasuk because his heart was too deaf, was, basically blocked from listening to Torah. Ad kedei kach. Bo Rabbanon rachmi alei. Rabbanon davened for him and asked Hashem for mercy for him. The Hadar Talmudei. Wow. He got his Talmud back. He revived his memory. He refreshed his memory only after Chazal davened for him. Unbelievable. As the Gemara says at the end of Nida, Daf Ayin, what do you do if you want to learn properly? Daven to Hashem that the words of Torah should enter your heart. And this is now this is related to what we see in the Mishnah in Avos. Yeah, it says over there, look at the Mishnah in Avos with the Pirush Rashi here. Rabbi Norai Omer, at the Goyel Mokum Torah. You're Talmid Chacham, and you live in a place where people are not such Bnei Torah. No shiurim, no koilolim, no this. Everyone, frum, but not mokum Torah. You have to be goyle and move and exile, so to speak, yourself to a place full of Talmidei Chachamim. Why? Because don't say, I expect everyone to come to me. Well, they're not coming to you. So you go to them. You move to a place of Torah where there's all the time interaction, shiurim and this and that, and other chaverim, chavrusas, chaburas. Don't expect the Torah to come after you. I'll stay where I am because I like it over here and I'm Mr. Center of the world, and the Torah has to come after me. Why? Your friends will be Mekayim b'yodcha. Says Rashi something very, very, very interesting. Rashi says something very unique. Why is it that the Chaverim help your learning? Even if the Chaverim don't learn the same Masechta with you, but something very interesting he says. Let's say you finished Masechta Shabbos, yeah? You want to revise and review Masechta Shabbos. Now, you're already on to the next Masechta, whatever, Eruvin, let's say. Now, how do you revise Shabbos? You're listening to them, because they're still learning Shabbos. Yeah? In other words, yeah, there's all the time Torah and Mokum Torah. They're learning Shabbos, they're learning Eruvin, they're learning Halachot, they're learning Tzachoshen, they're learning Breslov. Everyone's learning something, so even if you want to revise, you can revise through hearing the other people. There's always dynamic Torah going on, as opposed to a place with just one share the whole town. We're going to get there. And don't say, I'm smart enough. Don't lean on your own chokhmah and bina to say, no, I'll manage the whole shas on my own. I don't need my chaverim. No, don't rely on yourself to say, I remember everything. I don't have to review. You have to review, and you have to have other people help you to review. Tana says a braysa, lo Rabbi Nohoroi Shmoi. That same Rabbi Nohoroi who was giving us such tremendous lesson. By the way, what does that have to do with the previous sugya? Very well. You go to a place of Gashmias, could be everyone's frum. But if everyone's only into Gashmias, yeah, that's what makes the move there. That's not a good thing. Yeah, I saw an advertisement in a newspaper. I don't want to start with me in advertisements because I'm going to start talking for an hour to stand on the soapbox. But they were saying like a new place for the Haredi Tzibur, but they were advertising a very, very Gashmias dik away. You're going to have the spa and the pool, nothing about Torah, nothing about Kodelim, nothing about good schools. I'm like, you guys missed the point. I don't know, maybe there are very nice people living there, maybe there is a Kodelim and shul there, yeah? But the way they advertise this, well, it's all marble and gold, you're going to have a nice lobby, Kmo America. I'm like, are you Haredi or not Haredi? I'm saying like, here we are, right? So Malcolm Torah, that's where a person should live. Who says that? Rabbi Nohoroi. What was his name? Rabbi Nechemia Shmoi. Ve'amri lo Rabbi Lozo ben Arach Shmoi. His name was not Rabbi Nohoroi. His name was Rabbi Nechemia or Rabbi Lozo ben Arach. Ve'lam nikra Shmo Rabbi Nohoroi. And by the way, it's the same Rabbi Lozo ben Arach. He learned his lesson. Get with the story? He just dawned at me now. The same Rabbi Lozo ben Arach, he learned it the hard way. He went to that fancy, modern place, the spa and the pool and the wine and the thing, and a nice movie maybe, clean room. But Lamaisa, yeah, he learned his lesson the hard way. And he's telling us now, guys, you should be in Malkum Torah, not in a Malkum where the mindset is all Gashmius oriented. So why do you call him Rabbi Nohoroi? That's not his name. Nohoroi is or. He is the one who enlightens the eyes of Chacham. He illuminates the eyes of Chacham in halacha. Such a Choshev Talmid Chacham, he illuminates he tells us the truth, he's showing us the truth in Ashkof and Halacha, And that's what's called Rabbi Noroi. Shkoyach. Sunday. See you on Sunday? Lomis Gardin. On Sunday, we're going to learn about scratching yourself. Yeah? But don't scratch on Shabbos. Thank you very much. Atzlocho bracha. I want to thank you guys for coming here. B'zchutz I'm learning in the evening, which I didn't do before so much. You see, Mokum Torah, we all help each other. Yeah. Atzlocho bracha. Shkoyach. Oh, you were talking about, you have to wear